Hello and welcome to a special video installment of KidsPeace's Foster Talk blog series. I'm Bob Martin, and today we're talking about adoption. And we're very pleased to have foster parents with us who have gone through that process to share some of their thoughts and their experiences with us. Nick and Kelly Kohler are foster parents working with the KidsPeace Foster Care Office in Kingston, New York, and they join us now from their home in Kingston. Nick, Kelly, welcome.
Hi, thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, it is our pleasure, believe me. So let's begin by telling folks about your family and also how you guys have been dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic.
Okay.
We are, I guess it feels a little small to us right now, but we have 7 children at home. We had 2 more at the start of the COVID crisis, I guess. And we actually helped transition them back home, but we still have 7 at home, and it feels kind of small sometimes. So it's a little crazy to say, but yeah. So we're Kelly and myself, and we have 7 children.
Yeah, we have ages 3 all the way up to 12. And then our 2 boys who just went back home were 12 and 16. And yeah, we have just decided, COVID has been a very different situation for everyone. And we also own our own business. That's actually where we are today. We own a daycare center. And so when it went to go close down and everything shut down for a couple of months, we had 2 ways to look at it. And so we just kind of looked at each other and thought, we're going to use this time. We've had 4 adoptions in the last 5 years, which has been absolutely incredible. But we haven't had the time to slow down. I always said, if I only had like 3 months to bond with these guys, even though we have bonded with them tremendously, but to just kind of get as a family unit in a way like never before. And so that's what we were able to do, is to really see the best in this time and to bond with each other and bond with our children. And it's actually been a really incredible time. So as we go back into having our business open and regular life and kids back in school part-time and stuff like that, we're taking some of the lessons that we've learned about slowing down and actually applying them to our lives now. So I think a lot of people are doing that. So it's been a hard time and very challenging for many people, including business owners like ourselves, but a lot of good can come from a hard situation.
That's fantastic. And it's frankly a little, I feel a little ashamed at complaining. You guys have had so much going on. But let me take you back a little bit. Before COVID, before all this, you mentioned you've had 4 adoptions, I think you said, in 5 years. So let's go back to before that. How did you decide that you wanted to go from being a foster family to one that was considering adopting children?
So we have actually both kind of been the opposite. Like we met and we both we had a conversation when we were even dating about adoption, right, babe?
Yeah, we both had that kind of just as a part of us when we were apart, and then when we got together, we were so happy that both of us felt that way too. So that was awesome. I have a foster adoptive sister, and then my parents had also fostered, and so that was something that had stirred up inside of me. And then you've worked in orphanages and stuff like that, right? Yeah, I've done some orphan work in foreign countries and stuff. So I just definitely had a heart for that and wanted to open up a family to people who needed a family.
So it switched when we thought that we were going to go the international adoption route. We kind of thought like one day, we'd have a couple of biological children and then see what happens. And maybe one day we would get to adopt a child. And I think our eyes were just completely opened when we met a very good friend of mine who works in the KidsPeace office in Kingston. And I had just met her for the first time and was asking her about what she does, and told her about my desire to adopt one day and to be a part of something like that. And as I was talking about my dreams and my preconceived notions of what adoption would look like for us, I was saying things like, oh, I don't know if I could do that. Like, I've got a foster sister, and, I don't know if I could handle that? Or, I was saying kind of things like that most people do say when they're thinking just along the lines of adoption. And she kind of just sweetly said to me something that changed my life. Like, she said, foster children need families too. And she shared with me the statistics and the need locally for people to step in and be a part of something so special. And I went home and I told Nick, and I was just like ecstatic about this conversation. And that was the start of the journey. It just like, it was in our hearts. It was like, wait a second, instead of thinking about this baby that we're going to bring into our family one day, we started thinking, let's prepare our family to open up our doors for whatever child may come our way, or whatever child needs a home, needs a family. We can be that, right, honey?
Yeah. I think that was a big part, like that conversation, and then just starting to learn the statistics and numbers and stuff. And we just had no idea. We knew there was a problem, but we didn't know it was as big as it is sometimes. So we were
tremendous need across the country, and certainly, as you say, in your area that you discovered there. You mentioned preparing. You went from maybe thinking in abstract terms about going the international route, maybe coming back with a baby or an infant. Now you changed that up, and you had to prepare your family. And I'm wondering about how the adoption of new siblings has affected your biological children, and what's been some of the challenges that you faced in forging your family from these various parts.
So it has been a team effort from day one. So the moment that we started thinking about opening up our home for another child or children, we started getting our kids on board. We started our biological children, which we call them the OGs, by the way, because we don't want to differentiate. They're all our children, right? So we call them the originals, the OGs. I don't exactly know how that came about. But we started just talking to them about adoption, and we started watching movies like Cheaper by the Dozen, and just getting them big family movies, and just getting them on board with this concept that this family could be meant for something really special. And so they have been almost more enthusiastic than we have along the way. And I mean, at one point, I remember we quickly brought children into our family, which is a whole other story we could talk about in a minute. But I remember our oldest daughter looking at our dining room and thinking how many babies or children she could fit in there. If we could just transform the house a little bit, we could bring these kids in. But one of the things that we have done along the way is get them excited, have them a part of it, and then have tough conversations. We were just talking about this last night, that we just continue to have tough conversations. Children, raising children, parenting, families, none of it is easy, right? Like you are always going to be in for an adjustment, whether it's biological children or it's bringing other children in. There's always an adjustment period when that family dynamic changes. And so being able to have open conversations about expectations versus reality, or things that make them happy, sad, upset, mad, sitting down and having conversations with our kids along the way has been really life-changing. And always kind of connecting with them every time the family dynamic changes. We make sure that we go and we do something as a bonding activity as a family to connect with everybody. So I think, does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. and it leads me to the other question, that I think might be one of those things that's sort of in the back of people's minds. One of them, obviously, when there are what the OG are involved, you want to know how things are going to affect them. But I'm wondering about other family members, extended family members, or friends. What's been the reaction to with them to your family dynamic changing in such a broad way?
Yeah. So at first, everybody was super excited. And I do always use the term, we both do, we're like, it takes a village to raise a child. And everybody, when we went for the 10-week class to go get certified and just be ready in case children came to us, everybody jumped on board. My sister watched the kids right at night. And then, babe, what happened?
And then, then we started to get some kids, and then we got some more, and then we reached a certain point where we just let's not tell anybody anyone's coming. We'll just tell them when they're here.
They think we're crazy, but they love it.
They're very supportive. They're very supportive still. But sometimes we realize how crazy it might seem, but it's crazy awesome. Yeah,
it's wonderful. Obviously having that positive reaction and having that positivity come into play has to be very important. But I'm also wondering about how important you think it is for the adopted family to have a positive relationship with the biological parents of the children that are involved.
Yeah. I think one of the things that we've always both really wanted was children who have a great solid foundation, children who are comfortable in the fact that they're, adopted through foster care, and who really know their story. And it's a story that is a foundation of their life. It's not a story that maybe all of the components of it don't line up. And so when they're a teenager, they find out different things, and then their world kind of crashes. It's really, really important to us that they grow up knowing how loved that they are. Yeah. And so sometimes that hasn't been easy. It's you've got things to work out with biological parents and stuff like that. But I think once you really get into this and you realize that you're working with people, and these are human beings, these are people who have their own things that they're good at and their own things that they're bad at. And at the end of the day, they truly, for the most part, love their children and have just goofed up in one way or another, or weren't ready to be what this child needed. And so having a relationship with those parents is extremely, extremely important. In the beginning, while it's the healing process, it's intense and it needs to be worked on. And I've kind of taken that on as like my mission is to be the liaison between the biological parents and our children who I love so dearly. And so I want them and the biological parents who I have grown to know and love, each and every one of them. And so I'm the liaison between healing in those relationships and helping those relationships flourish. And I am so excited to say that all of our adoptions are open adoptions. Mm-hmm. They know that they're loved. They look forward to seeing their biological parents in one way or another. And I hope, and we hope that sets them up for a lifetime of just knowing who they are, knowing that they're loved, knowing their story and their birth story and how they came into our family.
Yeah, that's the really most important thing is we never want them to be kind of feel like there's a part that's missing that they mm-hmm. need to go off searching for. We want them to know who they are, all parts of them, mm-hmm. and be comfortable and confident in that, so that they don't go off searching in the world for something that's going to fill a hole. And we hope that they don't have any holes in their heart.
And it's kind of a beautiful thing because our family is made up of all different races, which is really we have this beautiful mixed family. And then it goes on to speak volumes to these relationships. So we really look at it as the biological parents are a part of our family tree. We talk to them on holidays and birthdays and every other Sundays or, whenever we want to FaceTime with them or whatnot. But they're an extended part of our family too. And that's super, super special to be all working together nowadays as a family. And I have one biological father relationship that just touches me so much, completely worlds apart as far as like where we live and he's down south, but the relationship that we've built and the love that we share for our son is absolutely incredible. And he often writes me and just tells me how much he loves us. And I just think that that's just a story that needs to be shared nowadays. It's really incredible. Yeah. So
that is a wonderful thing. And we do live in times where some of that needs to be better talked about. And one of those issues that we're facing, of course, is COVID-19, and it's changed everything, and foster care is no exception. But I understand that you all helped a family reunite in the face of the pandemic. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the older guys who are now 12 and 16, and they were with us for a year and a half. And we were fortunate to really work well with. They were a sibling group of 5, and we worked well with the other foster families, and we supported mom and KidsPeace office. They went. They did everything that they could do and needed to do to help mom get the kids back. And then COVID hit, and it was really hard because everyone was worried about safety. And so after a little while, we started to feel a little confident that we could safely kind of come up with some, in-house protocols to get them back home, because that's what was best for everybody. So
they loved their mama.
We miss them a lot, and they will always be a part of our family, but they needed to be back with their mom.
And the KidsPeace workers, I think you asked me that and I didn't go back to it. I'm sorry. But our KidsPeace office is incredible. So they are, they're an office of people who just absolutely go above and beyond and care about what they do. I can't even speak higher about them. They have literally become our family. We sat through training and we heard stories about becoming foster parents, and we were really drawn. We knew this was the specific agency for us because of the people who work there and the stories that they shared. The thing that stuck out to me most is that many people had been working for the company. There's one person who's been there for 25 years, and she didn't allow any life experiences to allow her not to believe in children, in biological parents, or in foster families. So she just believes, all of them, they believe in people and individuals and helping them through all these things that KidsPeace teaches, helping them to become their best, and helping families to become their very best as you bring a new child in, or you have to say goodbye to a child, which is really, really hard sometimes. And so they've just come alongside of us just like, an aunt or a family member would, and supported our family, come into our home. And, having someone come into your home all the time, that might be something that sounds a little like to people, but it's like, no, you want to have these people come to your home. These are like your family. So they're coming into our home and they're helping us and they're helping the kids. They care about these kids. So all together, we were able to just look at the situation and know that, mom is working really hard. These boys love their mom very, very much. And they also love their foster family. So it was hard for all of us, and we do miss them, and we do keep in touch. And we just got to take them out a couple of weeks ago for lunch, and that's a beautiful thing as well. But thank you to the KidsPeace office, because they just do an incredible job of supporting us and helping.
Absolutely.
And getting this. It was actually a sibling set of 5 that was placed with just 3. I feel like very, very special families, all with like kind of unique, similar values. All 3 families were very similar, and we had this sibling set of 5 kind of combined between us all, and we were all able to just work together, reunite, cheer mom on, right? We all were cheering mom on. We still are. The other foster families are, and they're all back home. So that was pretty special.
That's wonderful. And obviously you're talking to the convinced here in terms of our folks in foster care. They are truly special. And I think one of the things that we try to get people to understand is when you work with KidsPeace as a foster parent, the one thing you should never believe is that you're alone, or that you're going to be out there and nobody's going to be able to help you and give you the support that you need. And that's one thing I'm sure you talk to folks about it. And I want to sort of close our conversation here, just sort of posing with you a little bit of a role playing. If you were approached by someone who said, hey, I'm thinking about becoming a foster parent, maybe start on the way, the same path you did to adopt, and they ask your advice on that decision, what do you tell them?
Yay. Good question, Bob. Thank you.
I think, as pretty much like with parenthood in general, I kind of feel like it's one of the hardest jobs you'll ever have, but it's one of the most incredible jobs. And that's very much true for foster care and adoption. It's it's not easy, but you know, I'm so grateful for, you know, KidsPeace and foster care agencies in general, just that there are people that care, that are doing this, that are supporting the families in doing this as well, because you definitely don't have as much support with biological children, you know. So it's you know, it's definitely, you know, it's worth the work. It's worth it.
Yeah, and if you know, it's kind of like, imagine if you had a training video on becoming a parent in general. You know, you do have this support and incredible training that comes along with everything. But as you get into things, there's going to be things that no training could prepare you for, and that's where you have this team of people beside you to help you navigate through things. But I do talk to people a lot about it, and I just can't even tell you enough. Like, it doesn't matter if you're single, you have a house, if you have a heart for children, and this is something that you want to do, there's a lot of things you could do with your life. But you can't make a difference in the life of a child every day. This is one of the most important things you'll do ever.
It's for generations. You know, it's not just one life. You know, it's for generations.
It's an investment, kind of, in a child. You're investing into a child, and that will give back to you in ways that you could not even imagine. So if you go into it and you surround yourself with the right support and the right people and the right mindset, getting your entire family on board, you're going into something that will change. It will change your life. It will change your biological children. Our kids have empathy and love and compassion because of the children that were brought into our home, and some of them from trauma. But what a better gift to give our kids than to give them their brothers and sisters. So I absolutely recommend it for everyone, really. I think it's something we all could be doing. And there's definitely a need out there for it. So.
And you know, they pay me to say that, but I couldn't say it any better than you just did, Kelly. Nick and Kelly Kohler and their large, sometimes chaotic, wonderful family in Kingston, New York. They work with our folks in the Kingston office here, KidsPeace. Guys, thank you so much again for sharing your wonderful story, wonderful inspirational story with all of us.
Well, thank you for letting us.
Thank you for letting us. We appreciate it.
And remember that if you want to be like Nick and Kelly, you want some information about fostering, you can find that out. And you can also find the KidsPeace office nearest you by going to www.fostercare.com, and you'll get all your answers there. For KidsPeace Foster Care and Foster Talk, I'm Bob Martin. Take care.